back when I was 4 years old. This takes place back in 1985. And my mother, she was wanting to get with this one guy named Adele Oxford. He was, she had the hots for him or whatever. Fell in love with him or whatever. And that year she got married to him, right? Well, everything seemed all hunky and dory as they go. You meet Mr. Right that you think is Mr. Right, and he turns into be a nightmare. Well, as it goes. So she had this little crappy little wedding by this shitty green and white trailer on this little patch of little farmland, whatever you would call it, farmland. It wasn't even, but that's beside the point here is. And then when they had the wedding, everybody was fake smiling to everybody and making everybody thinking that he was like a family man, right? And then after everybody left, that's when just changed, right? And then and he walked up to me and he goes, "You're gonna have to call me Dad now." And I'm like, a person like me that's got facts on his side is like, no, I got a father. I'm not gonna call you Dad, even though he's a druggy piece of shit. I do have a biological father, and you're not it. And then he walked off so totally pissed at it. That's when the target came on my back. That's when the fix was in for me. And then he was so cheap, in fact, that he wouldn't even buy a washer and dryer. He would make my mom wash the clothes in a wringer washer. This is 1985. And she would wring out the wash, look at me as I was playing in the sandbox or on the swing set. And we had this dog named Crystal that he would love to threaten to kill it if we didn't obey his shit. And let's see. When we were at this place for the 6 months that she was married to him, he would come home for work, and he'd want shit made from scratch, old school style. He would demand that everything be made from scratch. If it wasn't made from scratch, he'd get pissed off. So one day she got tired of making stuff from scratch, and she was making that shake and bake stuff. I think it was new at the time, and she was happy to try it out. So she made a meal and the barbecue chicken and everything. So she got a great idea that she was gonna hide the shake and bake box on the trash. So he comes home and she's preparing dinner and everything, and she's all happy that she made this meal, right? And he asked her, "Did you make this meal from scratch?" She goes, "Yeah." And he gets up and he walks over to the trash, takes everything out of the trash, finds the shake and bake box, and walks up to all the dishes, the glass dishes and all the kind of dishes that are breakable. He walks up to it and he starts violently throwing them to the ground. And looks at her, he goes, "You clean it up!" And she goes, "You clean it up now." And she goes, I'm not gonna clean it up. I didn't make this mess. And he just storms off. All right. And one dinner event we had back in good old 1985. We was having cheeseburgers one time. I was sitting there, and she was preparing it, and she brought it to him first, and me second. And at the time, I didn't like certain things on my cheeseburger, which I like now. So I said I didn't want that on my cheeseburger, and I took it off. And he stood up, turned around to me, and slapped me, an open hand slap, hard as he could. Basically, kind of like how Ric Flair does a chop, open hand, that kind of hard. Slapped me as hard as he fucking could in the fucking face. And she just looked at him like what the fuck, why did you do that? But she didn't do nothing. She just turned around, just kept cooking. And then, and every work day, he would sabotage the car so she couldn't drive. He would go out and sabotage the car, take a little piece out of it. But if she was going to her mother's house, he would put the piece in the part in the car so she could drive. And every night, we would sit around and watch this little sitcom shows, Cheers and stuff, on this little bitty dinky, you thinking a 19-inch? Oh no, it was smaller than that. It was about like 5-inch or a little less inches than that. That was kind of a timeout we had of being mentally tortured. And back then, I always dreamed of getting a NES and Nintendo Entertainment System and everything like that. When everybody else was, having a great time being a kid and fucking playing all that shit, while I was getting mentally tortured. And every breakfast meal, I would have to walk out into this shitty little patch of pasture land of cows and bulls and shit to get these eggs. My mom goes, don't you drop in these eggs. So you're already nervous about getting tortured every fucking day. So I'd walk out, crawl under, and I had a red hoodie on at the time, and I'd walk out, right? I'd crawl under the bottom of the barbed wire fence, and all these bulls, look like they're gonna just steamroller over you. And they get to the chicken coops that were in the middle of this cow pastures, right? So to pick up the the chickens, and then I'd get the eggs and take the eggs back, and every time I'd get to that, I'd drop some because I was so nervous after all that shit. And what else happened? I'll never forget the day we left that place. She looked out. She looked out the door and said, come on, when he leaves, we're going. And then we got in the car, and she we got that apartment in 69, and I was holding this big fucking, I don't know, blanket or something, and I fell in on the floor. And then when I was falling on the floor, I said, the torture is over. It's like freedom. And what's funny about it is one time she bought me a toy, and he said, you didn't need that. Now there's time to be frugal with your money, yeah, but this guy's so cheap. And the epilogue, and when it came time to buy groceries, he would only give her $40 for food. Could you live on $40 in 1985? Can you do it now? No. So, and then the epilogue of this story, time's getting long. So, he married this other girl, tried to do the same shit to her with the, what you call it, giving her $40 for the food. And what she did was go to the store, get some bologna and bread, and get the money, and she had a kid with him as the other wife. And then she left his ass, and then he tried to get with another woman, and then he wanted her just to be like a slave to, I guess, do the cleaning. How do you like that open hand slap, Dell? How you like it? This open hand slap is world fucking wide. I would love to give you a receipt for that fucking slap you gave me in 1985, but you know what? I think this is better. Because it's factual and it's truthful. You know you did it. And when we moved in apartment 69, we had that dog that I said in the first part of this video, Crystal. She ran off when we got into Rosie Claire back at that time, and I don't know what happened to that dog. He just ran off. I guess it was so traumatized of being threatened all the time. Well, that's it. I'm gonna cut another video after this.